Boom, 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 boom. There we go. There we go. There we go. That should all be good. Let me just check that. Let's have a little check. How's that sounding? Yeah, that's all good. That's all good. So let's just quickly share that. That's what I'm looking for. This one here. Bam, there we go. Shared on there. Easy peasy. Then I gotta go here. I think it's over here now. Boom. Share it on here. Like the stream while we wait. While we just I get everything sorted out, all the promo done. Leave a like on the stream. Boom. Get that done there, and then one last place I've got to do that, which is on here, and then it is in one of these ones. I think it's this one here. Let's go and drop that one in. Is that on it? Did that not? Oh man, that's actually long. There we are. Boom. Boom. That should all be done. That should all be done. We should all be ready to go for today's very, very boring Boxing Day special, because they've completely ruined Premier League Boxing Day football today. Obviously, there was a lot of Football League action today from obviously Championship, League 1 and League 2, but you know, I'm here for the Premier League football. You know, that's where all my knowledge is. You know, I used to be quite tapped into the Championship when I was younger, but like my kind of interest for that league just kind of fell off a cliff really, and I haven't really been too tapped in and up to date with everything that goes on across like the Championship, League 1 and League 2 for a couple of years now, which is probably a bad thing. It definitely is a bad thing, especially as a City fan. I'm going to need to get clued up on that League 2 football with the coming seasons. But yeah. Now we've got Premier League football, one game of Premier League football, Manchester United versus Newcastle at Old Trafford, and this is basically just making up for the fact that I can't do a watch along for the City game tomorrow because I'm at work, which is quite disappointing. Would have loved it if, you know, City were playing today, would have made it easier, but you know, I will be back for the game against Sunderland on New Year's Day, which will probably be a very, very hungover watch along, but it'll be a good watch along nonetheless, because you know, depending on how other results go, especially the results tomorrow, and obviously results in Arsenal's game, we could potentially be top of the league, or we could be, you know, 6 points behind Arsenal, depending on how this weekend's fixtures go and that fixture goes as well. But you know, so it's all interesting. But obviously, the main focus today is what is happening at Old Trafford. I think for my bet today, I had to do a re-up on the Bet365 account because I kind of I went on a crazy losing streak and lost all my bread in there. But I'm thinking I'm needing a Cunha shot on target and a Voltemada shot on target, and that gets me £20 to get back building up the ladder there with my money in there, because I don't want to deposit anything too crazy, so I just deposit the tenner. You know, didn't want to go too overboard with the outgoings. You know, especially, you know, it's been an expensive month, but yeah, so hopefully that comes in. But then again, my last two bets were Cole Palmer to get a shot on target against Newcastle, and he just didn't. And I needed Arsenal to win in normal time against Crystal Palace, and they just decided not to do that. So, you know, on a bit of a losing streak, I think I needed Fernandes to get a shot on target tackles and commit a foul. In the game against Villa, obviously he went off injured and got replaced by Lisandro Martinez, and then I think I was like literally one John McGinn yellow card away from making like £130, but you know, John McGinn decided not to get booked, which was quite disappointing. But you know, got a nice easy one on today, which, you know, should 100% come in. If it doesn't, I'm not gonna be very happy. But then again, I can't remember the last time I did a watch along and one of my bets came in, so you know, there's not too much high hopes. That's disgraceful, Cap, bro. Now you've actually just come in here and lied, because nah, that's an outrageous thing to say, because one, am I wanting United to win this game? Absolutely not. And two, let's just remember how many goals Robin van Persie went on to score for that club and go win a title when he couldn't do it at your club, big man. Let's just remember that. Just a quick reminder, a quick little history lesson. But yeah, nah, this should be an interesting game. You know, I'd like to think so. I think the last two Newcastle games I watched were relatively interesting, and you know, United never failed to amaze you. So you know, when United are involved, it's not going to be a boring game. And the same really kind of goes for Newcastle. So I'm hoping this is a good game, because obviously last time I was live on here, we had to watch the absolute snooze fest, which was Arsenal versus Everton, which was some of the most diabolical football I've ever seen. Oh yeah, I forgot I lost money on that one as well, because I needed Arsenal to get a set amount of shots on target, which they just didn't go and do. And then I put money on Tarkowski to score the winner, which to score next, which he obviously didn't go and do. So you know, it's not been a great month for me gambling wise, but you know, we're trying to get back on the winning grind. You know, we're trying to get back there. You know, I want to become a pro. I'm trying to become a pro. You know, they see those guys that like promote their scam like Discord groups, where they say that, like, you know, if you join, you get the best Bet365 tips and you can make millions, bro. That's gonna be me, but like, it's not gonna be a scam. I'm just gonna be like that good. I'm just gonna be that good at betting. You know, my insight into the footballing world is just gonna be that good, where I can just make you absolutely millions. When the fun stops. Yes, that is very true. But does the fun ever stop? Does the fun stop? No, it doesn't. The fun never stops. That's the thing they don't tell you. They tell you that when the fun stops, you should stop, but they never tell you that the fun never stops. That's the one thing that they do not tell you. So it's all well and good telling you to stop when it's not fun anymore, but they don't tell you that it never stops being fun. I promise I'm not an addict, though. You know, I'm just gonna have to preface that I'm not an addict. I am not a gambling addict. My relationship with gambling is very, very healthy. You know, it is very, very healthy. I haven't actually looked at the lineups for either team, so I'm gonna. What have we got? What have we got here? Both teams to score. Joe Lenton showed a yellow. Casemiro to have one or more shots on target. That's kind of rogue. Voltemada to have two or more shots on target, and Newcastle to win. That's kind of rogue, but I'm going to check if I've got any money in my Paddy Power account, and I'm also going to put that one on. Oh wait, Paddy Power is not that. I've got to reinstall Paddy Power. But now vibes, I might need to back that one as well, you know. I'm just reinstalling the app. Last time I checked, I had like 30 quid in here, but I don't know where that's went. I don't know if I spent that. Let's have a little look. We're signing in. I have 25 pence in my Paddy Power account apparently, so looks like we will not be backing that. I thought I had money in there, bro. I actually was of the belief that I had money in there, but I actually think oh no, I know what happened. Is when I got shadow banned from Bet365, I went on Paddy Power and placed a few rogue bets and they didn't come in. That's what happened. Because that's when I had my spiritual enlightening that I didn't need to gamble. But now it turns out that I'm back on the gambling grind. Oh man, I've just noticed Man United are playing a midfield 2 with Casemiro and Ugarte. This could get ugly. This could get so ugly. Nah, that's dark. That's so dark. How are you? Nah, how are you playing a midfield two of Casemiro and Ugarte going into the year of 2026? How is that what you're deploying? That's crazy. That's crazy work, man. That's crazy work. Also, we got the new chair, so it doesn't squeak. Look, I can lean all the way back. I'm not gonna fall out. You know, not holding on to anything. I'm not gonna fall out, and it doesn't squeak. I can just move around, and you're not just hearing every time I move. So that's a huge W. Huge W for your ears, and it's a bit more comfortable as well. You know, I can just lounge back, and I don't feel like I'm about to lose my life, which is always good. Which is always good. But yeah, now back to looking at the teams. You know, United's midfield two is absolutely despicable. Obviously Sesko up top's never a bonus. I'm not gonna fall out of it, bro. Look how far back I can go. Like, you know, I can, like, you know, that's calm. Then you got Martinez. Luke Shaw at centre back is always beautiful. Dallo's gonna commit war crimes on this pitch. Then you look at the Newcastle team, which is pretty standard. Wait, you've got money on Joe Linton to do something, right? Joe Linton's on the bench, bro. Am I? One moment. You've got money on Joe Linton to be shown a card when he's on the bench. That's dark. That's dark. You know, that's what you call dark. I know Bruno's 100% gonna get a card, but Joe Linton off the bench is kind of rogue. See, if Mount was on the bench, I would have bet on him to get a card, because Mount loves to get a yellow card when coming off the bench. But Joe Linton, that's a rogue shout. He'll come on and do damage. Nah, he probably will, but like, nah, because there's no teenagers on the pitch for him to bully. You've got to remember, Joe Linton loves to bully a teenager. That's Joe Linton's bread and butter, to come on the pitch and absolutely bully some teenager. Was it Max Dowman that he tried to just absolutely snap in half in pre-season? Also, oh, you put it on like 2 hours ago. That's fair enough. Yeah, no, that's fair. Casemiro to get shots is kind of rogue as well, though. That was kind of, you know, that was some serious punter. That was some punter behaviour. I know what you were, you know, I know what was going on there. We've all been there. We've all slapped money on Tarkowski to score next. Now, who's scoring first? Nah, lads. Who's actually scoring first? Like, that's the question we need to be asking ourselves. Who's scoring first in this game? Ah, yeah, nah, you know what? I respect that. I do respect that. The free bets is a free punt, and it's easy. But who have we got to score first? Who are we looking at here? Who are we looking at? I'm thinking. Do I go for this one? Nah. Come on, I need predictions of who's gonna score first, lads. Come on. Because if I don't get any predictions in chat, I'm just gonna put it on whoever's gonna be like the highest odds. I have a free bet on the darts, and it's like 500 to 1. Bro, actually, for like the love of your physical health, we've got to hope that bet doesn't come in, because some of the scran you'll be ordering, it will be diabolical. Nah, it's got to be someone that's actually starting, bro. Like, now, what are the odds on Luke Shaw to score first? Nah, I could make an easy £40 if I just slap a quid on Luke Shaw to score first. I think he's due. He has to be due a goal. Has to be. One moment, Casemiro's got 4 goals from his last 6 shots on target in the Premier League. One moment. Now, let me cook real quick. Let me cook. Nah, do I cook? If I put a tenner on Casemiro to score first, I'll get 200 quid. Yeah, nah, that's facts. And the question is, will that be Uber Eats, or are you going to go in there and pay in cash? Are you going to go tip boss man? Are you going to go and pay cash? Now this Casemiro, 4 goals from his last 6 shots on target is speaking to me, you know. It's actually speaking to me. Like, does that mean I've got a problem? When stats like that are talking to me, does that mean I've got a problem? Because I'm eyeing up this Casemiro first goal, you know. I'm eyeing it up. I might need to deposit another £5 into the account. Oh, you know what? Nah. You know what? We're just gonna put, because I've only got I got 47 pence left in the account, right? I'm just gonna slap that on Casemiro to score first, and then we just get £8 back. That's easy, because the money should come in for this for the bet boost I got on as well. So we should be getting our way back up into the world. You know. My goal in 2026, yeah. My goal in 2026 isn't even to become a successful streamer or a successful YouTuber. I want to be one of those tipsters on Twitter that just give out all the betting tips, because I'm just so I'm so good at gambling. That's gonna be me. That's gonna be me, man. That's 100% gonna be me. Now, watching Lisandro Martinez like practice heading the ball is absolutely hilarious, and I actually think he's not good. Like, when it comes to ranking players I do not think are good in the Premier League, that I think are highly overrated, I think the top 2 most overrated players in the Premier League are Martin Odegaard and Lisandro Martinez. Like, they have to be the easy top 2. Nah, my net. Well, that's why we're not. Mama, can you check your? Can I check my net return for this year? Mama, can I know there is a way to do it, but I'm trying to remember how you do it. Oh, okay. I think it's this one. Nah. What do you mean, bro? I'm up £35, bro. What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm up £35. I'm up, bro. And I've spent 21 hours on Bet365 this year. Now let me send you these stats. Let me quickly send you the stats we're looking at. Let me just quickly DM you these stats, bro. This is what we're looking at. I'm up, bro. I think anyway. I'm potentially up. I don't know, I might have read that wrong, but I think I'm up. What that's saying to me is I'm up. And you know, that's exactly what you want to be seeing, man. The fact that I'm up. You know, there are many things you want in life. And to become rich from watching football is one of them, and that's going to be me, because I just, like, they don't call me Nathaniel Knows Ball for no reason. They call me Nathaniel Knows Ball because I know ball, and I put my knowledge of football into worthwhile investments. Yeah, no, that's dark. Izzy, why are you getting banned from Bet365? We've got Izzy banned on Bet365 over here. Right. After all the bets, 30 quid up is not great, but at least they ain't a loss. Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, obviously, I'd wanna have won more, right? But £30 up. £30 up is better than £2,000 down. That's what you've got to say to yourself. Like, that's what you've got to say to yourself. How many bets did it say I put on? Like, are we looking at the... Does it actually tell me how many bets I've put on? Now, tell you what. I'm looking at some of my stats for the year. I did not go on this app once in July. Or in October. So, just like... Yeah, well, you know, that's good to be you. Nah, you must have been there for that night where I put in the group chat. I was like, oh yeah, by the way, I've just spunked 30 quid on blackjack. Because like now my mate at work was telling me that he won like 400 quid from roulette on Coral. So I was like, cool bro, if he can do that I can do that. So I spunked 30 quid on roulette. So like not roulette, blackjack. Yeah, that was dark. That was a dark evening. That was a very, very dark evening. But evenings like that will not happen again, because I've honed in on my blackjack skills. Like virtual betting, I might take some losses, but I've never left a casino out of pocket. I've been to a casino 3 times, and I've never been down in the casino. And if I have been down in the casino, it's for like a split second, and I'm straight back up. You know, like. Hot take: Ugarte wouldn't start for any Premier League team right now. No exaggeration. Germany wouldn't work. No, that's facts, Mohammed, bro. That's facts. Like he might be one of the worst people I've watched play the sport. Like, the fact that Casemiro is washed and he's still better than him is crazy. Like, I don't know, man. Like, just watching Ugarte play, and it's like even before he came to United, I don't think he was great at PSG either. Like, and then they went and spent all that money on him, and he's just not good. Like, I honestly think Amrabat was better than him. I actually think Amrabat, and I don't think Amrabat's great. You know, I don't think Amrabat was great at all, but he was better than he's better than Ugarte. Hell, Kovacic is better than Ugarte, and that's Kovacic, right? Kovacic in the 6 is better than Ugarte. You turned £2 into 2. Nah, how are you? Bro, I'm just unlucky, bro. That's what it is. That's what it is, like. That's what it is. On my one hot streak I've been on all year, yeah. My one hot streak I've been on all year, yeah. And it's because I kept betting on Gabriel to score a header. I kept betting on Gabriel to score a header, yeah. And obviously it just kept coming in. And then bam, Bet365 were like, yeah, you're not betting anymore, buddy. We're putting you on a little pause. And then I didn't use the app for a bit, but you know, that Gabriel header method was OP, bro. Like, yeah, I used to just slap a tenner on Gabriel to score a header, or Gabriel to score from a corner, bro, and it used to just print money. But unfortunately, for the time being, that method has been patched. For the time being. There was a period of time where I kept losing money because I kept putting money on Caicedo to be booked, and he just wouldn't get booked. Like, he'd commit at least 4 consecutive war crimes on the pitch, and then the card just wouldn't come out. So I had to stop that one. But because I thought that one was basically the same as the Gabriel method, but it's not. But I think the ones that annoy me is when you bet on a striker to get a shot on target in 90 minutes and he doesn't. Like, how are you a Premiership striker and you're not getting a shot on target? Imagine you play 5-a-side with Ugarte and leave thinking he's a baller. Bro, I don't even think he's got the tech for that, man. If I'm honest, I don't even think he's got the tech for that. Like, I'm talking all this about him. Watch him play an absolute blinder now. To be fair, Ugarte's due a good performance. Like, he's went so many games without a good performance. He has to be due a good performance. But, you know, him and Casemiro in the middle coming up against Ramsey, Bruno and Tonali seems really dark. Like, this could be a dark, dark day for the sport. But all I know is if Man United are winning at halftime, they'll win the game. They won't lose because of that absolute, like, that cursed record they've got at Old Trafford where they just can't lose after being 1-0 up at halftime. It just doesn't happen, bro. There's some sort of, like, black magic put on that. But, you know, we're here, you know. We're here, you know. We're gonna have a successful hate watch. We're gonna have a successful gambling session, and I'm gonna leave this stream a happy man. Like, well, either way, right? Even if it isn't a successful hate watch, and even if it is not a successful gambling session, it just can't be worse than watching Arteta ball. Like, it actually cannot be any worse than that. And if it is somehow worse than that, then, bro, I don't know what to tell you. The sport's in the mud. The sport's in the mud. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Anthony Gordon really needs to get rid of that headband. Like, that's just not doing him any favours at all. Like, oh, wait. I've just remembered Newcastle have Ramsdale. This could be a long day. This could be a long day. This could be a long day for the hate watch. But this could be a very, very good day for Casemiro scoring first. Newcastle are employing a literal hologram in net. Nah, Gordon actually thinks he has serious aura with that headband. Someone needs to tell him differently. Someone seriously needs to tell him that that's just not going on. Whereas, like, someone like me could rock that headband no problem. See that Gordon headband look? I could pull that off like 10 times better than he does. Like, there's no, you know, no if, buts, or maybes about that. You know what I'm trying to say? There's no like doubt in my mind that I could pull that off a lot better. But you know, we're here. We're back. We're back. I'm here for this. I'm here for this Gordon masterclass. I'm here for Bruno G is gonna have an absolute blinder today against that 2-man pivot. Just watch. I'm telling you, like, that's, if anything's gonna happen, it's gonna be that. Amarin thinks he has serious aura as well, and it's just like, you need to pattern up your win rate before you start aura farming to the cameras, buddy. Like, I don't want to be the one that has to tell you that, but, like, you know, this United starting 11 is dark viewing. Like, there are players in this squad that should not be participating in Premier League football matches. But then again, we've got Luke Shaw playing in a World Cup year. So, you know, Luke Shaw is going to put in a performance because he needs to get in that England squad for the World Cup. But Dalot, Ugarte and Casemiro, like, I'm not Dorgu's biggest fan, but out of that midfield four, right, he has to be the best out of that midfield four. Cunha and Mount playing as just behind the strikers, two shadow strikers, you know, they're both in decent form. But Sesko, bro, it's not going to be good for him. It's going to be long for him. Again, he's another player that I haven't been impressed with when I've watched him play. Like, he's more mobile than Gyökeres, but that's like the only like upside I can really put on that. Like, I probably would still prefer Gyökeres. See, Ramsdale in goal is never like a pleasant sight, but the back four of Lewis Miley, Shaw, Fabian Schär and Lewis Hall, with Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali and Ramsey in the midfield, and what is it, Murphy, Voltamada and Gordon up top. Like, that should be an easy W. But then again, with Eddie Howe football in 2025, things can get really dark really quickly for Newcastle. Like, you know, they look like they were home and chilling against Chelsea, and we saw what happened there. So I think we are definitely in for an interesting game of footy. 100%. Martez's trim is absolutely honking as well. So only going to be a matter of time before he injures himself going in for some crazy tackle to try and press people as well. This is his first start since February due to that knee injury. And I don't know if it's the same for this one because I can't actually remember his most recent injury. But all of his injuries before that, I just remember being self-inflicted by him going in for some horror tackle. But now we need a big performance from Newcastle. Gordon, no goals in his last 26 matches from 34 shots. That's dark. That's actually dark. That's oof. That's reaching Savinho levels, bro. That's Savinho levels of dark. That's sinister, bro. That's not what you want to be seeing. But it's going to be Tonali to get us underway at Old Trafford this evening. Obviously, make sure to like the stream if you haven't already. I don't know why I sound so nasally. Boom, there we go. We are underway in the one and only Boxing Day fixture of 2025 in the Premier League. And, you know, we need a quick Voltemada and Cunha shot on target to please the masses. To please the masses. And then we just need a, you know, we just need a Newcastle just baller sesh, really. Because the thing is, though, like, last time I watched United was obviously against Villa, right? And I thought, you know, Villa were like a non-factor basically for half of that first half. And then Rodgers absolutely smacks in that beautiful, beautiful goal, right? Then Cunha gets one back after a mistake from, I think it was Matty Cash. And then, you know, United just kept wasting chances. Like, they're so wasteful in front of goal. That's beautiful from Hall. And that's already one foul from Ugarte. You know, things you love to see. Things you love to see. That's a good turn from Cunha there. He carries the ball inside. Manchester is red. We will finish top 4, and UCL come in 2027. That's a crazy prediction. That's a crazy prediction, especially when I look at some of the players that are in this squad, right? I think that's an absolutely outrageous prediction. Especially when you look at some of the other teams in the league as well. You got Dorgu now, because like what? Villa are definitely better. Chelsea, I'd say, are just about better than United. You know, I just think Chelsea are very inconsistent. Arsenal and City are obviously definitely better. You know, you even got teams like Sunderland who, despite United beating Sunderland, I think Sunderland are better than United. There are a lot of teams in this league better than United. You know, United have a lot of individually good talent, right? But just as a team in that system, they do not perform to the standards they should be performing to. Like, Mbeumo, I think, is a good player. Cunha, I think, is a brilliant player. Mount is a good player. Sesko is a good player. Obviously, Bruno's a very, very good player, right? But you look at actually how they're being used and how they're being utilised in this Amorim system. Some of it just doesn't make sense. Some of it just does not make sense at all. And you don't finish top 4 with Diego Dallo. I'm sorry, it doesn't happen. Casemiro goal right now from this corner. Corner coming in from United. It was Casemiro that got to it first, but he did head it over. That's kind of dark. I mean, he makes a good run. He's completely unmarked. No one goes with him, and the ball just kind of bounces off the top of his head. Yeah, he's completely unmarked, uncontested for that header, and he just lets the... Doesn't even, like, he goes to glance it on with his head, he just lets the ball completely smack him in the face. So that one's got to hurt a little bit. And, you know, that's definitely a chance missed, but it was good work off the ball from him to make that run. Sesko. Mount. His pass to Cunha is misplaced. Now it's Lewis Miley. He goes inside to Bruno. It's a poor pass forward from Newcastle. It's Mount again. He goes to Cunha. No real options forward, so he has to go back to Casemiro. Casemiro again looks to pass forward. No options really on. Newcastle doing well to close the gaps. Now it's Lisandro Martinez. He pings one out wide to Dallo. He's instantly closed down by Gordon, but he's able to ping a pass around the corner to Mount. Now Mount tries to play it through to Sesko out wide. He picks it up, challenged by Shaw. He's able to hold it up and get it back to Dallo, who then recycles it back to Haven. And then across to Lisandro Martinez. Now, Newcastle are doing well to sit in shape, being very, very compact. It's going to be very, very difficult to break down, especially without Bruno in the team. That was a good 1-2 from Dorgu and Mount. But Dorgu's brought down by, I think, Lewis Hall, and it's not given as a foul. So Ramsdale can get out to Miley. Fabian Schär. Should have put money on Schär to score, actually. Schär loves a goal. But nah, yeah, it's just like, I just don't see United winning this, because I've got a feeling they're going to be Newcastle are going to be difficult to break down, right? Obviously, out of possession, in transition is a different story. But like, when Man United has sustained amounts of possession, Newcastle are going to be difficult to break down. I think without that Bruno defence splitting pass and that Bruno hero ball, I just don't see a way through. Especially when you've got a midfield two of Ugarte and Casemiro. Obviously, Mount and Cunha are creative players, but you know, they're playing a lot further forward. They'd have to drop deep, a lot deeper, to make things happen, and then the combination play between them and Sesko is basically non-existent. So yeah, I do think United will struggle to create chances in this game in the absence of Bruno, with the shape that Newcastle are already starting to sit in this first 5-6 minutes of this game. But only time will tell. Sesko knocks this one down for Dorgu. And then he's forced to go back from the press from Newcastle. It's Martinez now, across the haven. He takes one touch past Voltemada. He keeps hurrying forward. His pass is to Dorgu is intercepted by Hall, but he's able to run back onto the ball again. This time challenged by Gordon, and then he runs it out for a Newcastle throw-in. Bit of Jason Tyndall on the screen now. Of course, it would not be a Newcastle game without him making his signature appearance on the big screen. Hall's brought down by Mount. Is that given as a free kick or a throw-in? Wasn't actually 100% sure on that one. Was a throw-in, and Hall's throw to Voltemada is intercepted, but Newcastle get the second ball back. Now it's Murphy. He goes inside to Bruno G, who shrugs off Ugarte, but Ugarte is able to slide in and win the ball, but Newcastle get the ball back. It's now Miley. He's challenged by Sesko. Now it's Luke Shaw. Martinez. Back to Shaw. And then Ugarte hits the ball off Tonale for a throw-in. Again, you can see how there's a lot more energy in this Newcastle team compared to Man United. Like, their press is a lot more intense, and they're winning a lot of the second balls. Like, Manchester United will get an interception and get a tackle in, but it'll be Newcastle straight away on that second ball. And it shows the different levels of intensity in both teams and how they play. No way Ramsdale's went down with what looks to be a hamstring injury. What has Ramsdale even done to warrant pulling his hamstring? That's hilarious. What I don't even know what he's done to warrant that sort of movement, to cause himself that sort of injury. Has he even touched the ball? No, I'm baffled. I'm stunned. What has he done? How has he done that? I don't even think he's touched the ball. How has he done that? I'm actually a little baffled, I won't lie. Have I missed something? How's Ramsdale in a position to do his hamstring? That's actually kind of nuts. Again, use a stoppage in play to like the stream if you haven't already. Bam, he's back up on his feet. I don't know for how long though. We could actually see Nick Pope get subbed on here within the first 15, which is quite funny if you think about it. But throw into United, taken by Shaw. Headed on by Cunha, but Newcastle get the ball back. Now it's Ramsdale. It's one touch and then a short pass. And then that's intercepted. Now it's Cunha. Go on, shot on target, shot on target. I know you want to. It goes back to Ugarte. He's taken that on the edge of the box. Shaw hits one. Bounces off of Sesko. And now Voltemada can bring it forward. But he's tackled by Casemiro. And now Manchester United have it back with Cunha. Ugarte. That's a terrible touch. Now it's back with Newcastle. With Gordon. With time to hurry forward. But he's quickly closed down. But he's able to get the pass off to Hall. Hall takes a touch a little too close to Mount. But he's able to spin him. And then spin him again, but then Mount picks his pocket, takes the ball. Out to Dorgu. Looking to get the cross into Sesko. Does get a low cross into Sesko. Sesko takes a touch, turns, puts it wide. I think he probably... I don't think he really needed to turn there. I think if he takes that first time across his body, I think he's got a lot better chance of scoring than if he turns. You know, it's a very, very good low cross from Dorgu. I'll give him that. You know, it's a good first touch from Sesko, but he could probably even take the touch and lay it off to Cunha. The turn and him turning just creates a harder angle for himself, and obviously that's reflected by the shot that he took and what it resulted in. But you know, that was some good play from United. Good press from Mount, and obviously good cross from Dorgu. And Tonali on the ball now. He gets it to Voltemada. His pass is initially intercepted by Dorgu, but once again Newcastle get the second ball back. Now it's Voltemada running in the channel. He tries to cut a pass inside, but that's intercepted by Dorgu, and it will be Newcastle's first corner of the match. Newcastle do have some big lads in this box, especially compared to United, where I think their only real sort of aerial presences are Haven, Casemiro and Sesko. And you know, yeah, again, the height difference is very, very clear. You've got Luke Shaw marking Voltemada at the moment, so this could be troublesome for United here. Tonali on the corner, he whips it in. It was headed on at the front stick, but it was just about cleared by United. And then Cunha intercepts a loose pass from Murphy. But he's not able to dribble out of danger, and Lewis Hall brings the ball forward for Newcastle. It's a beautiful touch round Ugarte and a beautiful touch round Casemiro, and it's a beautiful pass out to Murphy, who tries to curl one, and I think that hits off Dalot and goes out for a goal kick. If that doesn't take the deflection, then that's a poor shot nonetheless. But yeah, the corner coming from Tonali. Bruno gets glances the ball on at the far post. Le Mans makes a very, very good save. You know, he glances it on. Le Mans makes a good save, and then it's cleared. Haven out to the edge of the box. But no, yeah, we've got another corner here for Newcastle, so it did take a deflection off of Dalot, as I first thought. Again, this time Newcastle goes short, and it's passed to the edge of the box from Murphy. Murphy whips that one in first time. Aims for Shaw, but it's originally clear, but Dorgu stays on the floor with potential head injuries, so the ref does halt the game for that one. Wait a minute. Dorgu is back up on his feet now, so I've got a feeling that was a tactical sort of injury to relieve the pressure from United. Which, you know, it's a smart tactic, because the ref's always going to blow to halt play if it's a head injury, or if it's a potential head injury. So, you know, it's not something that you particularly want to see in the game, but it's going to be a smart tactic that's going to be used until they find a way around it, which is going to be very difficult. Just based on how seriously you have to take a head injury. But Newcastle are back underway. Now it's Fabian Schär. He goes for a long pass inside to Bruno. It's cleared, but then it's knocked on by Ramsey. We've got Murphy screaming for it, but he goes inside to Miley and then back to Ramsey. Now it's Schär. Now it's Fabian Schär again. Gordon. That's a very, very short pass and loose pass to Schär, but he gets there before Sesko and has to pump it forward and out for Newcastle, Liverpool, Newcastle, United throw in United's final third. Dalot to take the throw. Headed on by Dorgu. Then Mount chops one inside. That looks to be brought down by Murphy. No, he heads it backward and straight into the path of Shaw. And he goes back to Martinez. Oh man, my hair's actually a mess. Now it's Haven. Lissandro Martinez. Now back out to Ugarte. Forward to Shaw. And all the way back to Le Mans. Who hits the ball forward for Dorgu. He loses the aerial battle to Shaw. And then is that Lewis Hall fouled by Casemiro there? Does look to be the case. It's going to be free kick to Newcastle. Tonali to stand over this one. 16 minutes into this game at Old Trafford, still 0-0. Once again with Newcastle having a very, very significant height advantage over United. Cross comes in. It's brought down by Miley. Shaw tackles it off Haven, takes the shot blocked. Then Shaw should see that one out. That's 100% correct. Of course Manchester is blue. It was never ever in doubt. Never ever in doubt. Tonali now. Out wide to Miley. Now it's forward to Murphy. Murphy goes to cross one into Ramsey. He just about misses the ball. And then it's cleared by Dalot. Shaw heads that one on. It's one back by Tonali. United is shit, and if we don't batter this team at Old Trafford this season, it's going to be a huge disappointment. 100%. I mean, you look at, like, they were terrible last season, and we let them beat us, which was extremely depressing, especially when you look at the circumstances we lost that game. Obviously lost the FA Cup final to them 2 seasons ago, which was even more disappointing. Especially when you look at how they've performed over the last 2-3 years. So 100%, obviously we got a very good result with the Etihad. And we just need to do the business away from home as well, especially with the race that we're in for the title with Arsenal at the moment. You know, we need to be winning those sorts of games. Ramsey now, he plays a ball out wide to Bruno, then chops it back in for Ramsey. That was seen out by Casemiro for, I think, a corner. So yeah, no, we 100% have to come to Old Trafford and beat United. But I'm actually not too sure when that game is. When is the next Manchester derby? What date? So again, we got another corner to Newcastle here. Hall to take this one. Is he going to go short again, or is this one going straight in the box? Because they're had a lot better success. When a lot more success when they went straight into the box. It looks like he is going to go back into the box. Hall. That one's a bit too deep, and it's headed clear by Dorgu. And then the touch by Mount is a little short, but he's able to backheel the ball off Tonali and out for a throw-in and sort of relieve a bit of pressure off United's goal there. Casemiro. Now Dalot. That's a good pass forward to Sesko. The touch was a little off, but he's still got the ball to Cunha. He's got Dorgu running ahead of him. He then chops the ball inside to him. It's a poor pass, but Mount is able to wrestle it off Tonali. But Bruno to the rescue. He wins the ball and gets it out to Hall. I think Lewis Hall's been the best player on the ball this game, 100%. I think I've been most impressed by him technically. That's a foul again by Ugarte. I think that's a third foul he's committed already. I'm not really too sure that one was a foul on Bruno G, if I'm honest. At first glance, it looked like he won the ball cleanly. You see Bruno takes the touch. No, never mind. He he takes Bruno's foot out before he wins the ball. So he does get the ball, but he's already took the man out. It's probably a little soft, but, you know, Bruno's conned the ref there, and I think that's a third foul for Ugarte already. I'm going to quickly check that one. I'm going to check the stats on that one, actually. If it lets me. Stats. Player stats. Fouls. Yeah, Ugarte's committed 3 fouls already. Voltemada now. Newcastle kind of struggling to get into the game in the final third. I think, you know, they've been the better team in all other phases of the game, but I think United have been slightly better in the final third. Gordon now to take on Dalot. He gets round him, but then has to cut back because he's run out of room. Now it's time to size him up and take him on. He cuts back outside, has Dalot slip him, but he's able to recover. Now it's Lewis Hall charged into the box. He goes to T1 up, and once again the cross is prevented, but I think that was Casemiro and seen out for another Newcastle corner, and yes, it was Casemiro again preventing another cross from Newcastle into the box. I think Gordon does really well against Dalot, and then as soon as Dorgu comes to sort of double up, the pass inside to Hall is good, the touch by Hall is good, and obviously the block is pretty standard from Casemiro to prevent any danger going into that 6-yard box. But we do have Tonali on the corner now. He takes it short. Now it's back out to Tonali. You can cross one in. Does hook one into the back stick. It's hooked across by Fabian Schär, but it's claimed by Le Mans. And he can start a counter-attack now. So now it's Dorgu. The throw to Dorgu is a bit too long. Hall can get across to prevent, you know, to see the ball out of play and prevent Dorgu getting the pass forward to Mount, because Mount was in acres of space. So again, we're 21 minutes into this game, still yet to see a shot on target from Cunha or Voltemada, and still really sort of looking for the first big chance of this game. You know, Sesko did have his chance, but I'd say that's more of a half chance if anything. It wasn't too clear cut. But we've got Gordon now, pass it inside to Ramsey. Ramsey turns, he then finds Bruno, who helps it out wide to Murphy, but Murphy's offside and it'll be a free kick to United. So Le Mans take the free kick for United. He punts that forward. Sort of in the search of Sesko, but it's Miley that gets there first. It's hooked back into the midfield by Martinez. Brought down by Bruno. Tonali hooks it forward to Voltemada, who knocks it down for Gordon, and his pass to Ramsey's, you know, it's a little awkward. And it's won back by United, but the ball forward isn't great. Sesko's able to retrieve it and find Cunha. Cunha's got time and space to run at United defence. He takes a shot. It's parried by Ramsdale. And we'll go out for a United throw-in. I wouldn't say that was on target, though, so I don't think that's going to... Like, I don't think that... Oh, no, that was on target. Big up Cunha. We just need that Voltemada shot on target now, and we're golden. Was that... I mean, yeah... I'd say just about... I mean, if Ramsdale doesn't... I think this angle's a bit better. No, yeah, that was definitely... Nah. Because I wasn't 100% sure if that's going wide. And he's just sort of got there before it trickles wide. But, you know, that was definitely going in if he didn't get down to that. Dorgu! 1-0! 1-0. So, I do not get my money for Casemiro scoring first. But that's a beautiful goal from Dorgu. And, you know, I said I wasn't a huge fan of him coming into this game. But I thought he's played really, really well. I thought he's been probably United's best player going forward and defensively. And he gets his goal there. And when you go to look at that back from United's set-piece point of view, right, obviously I did say they would struggle to create chances from open play against this Newcastle team without Bruno. But if we go into to check the replay here, because I only caught the last glance of the goal, because obviously I was checking, you know, if that counted as a Cunha shot on target. But you get the long throw comes into the box, right? Voltemada heads it clear, and then Dorgu's just able to run straight onto that ball. Nobody in black and white wants to chase that ball out and get there first. Dorgu runs, he's being marked by Miley, but he runs away from Miley. Miley's still occupying that back stick. And then no one really gets out to Dorgu to close him down quick enough. And he's able to wrap his foot around that ball with a beautiful volley. Ramsdale just about gets a hand to it, but it's not enough. And that is a beautiful, beautiful goal from Dorgu. It kind of reminds me a bit of Matty Cash's goal for Villa against City. It's very similar. No one wants to get out to the fullback. Out to the ball first before the fullback. They can just wrap their foot around it, and bam, that's a beautiful goal from Dorgu, and that's 1-0 United. How are Newcastle going to respond to that is the question. That is the real question. Because, even though they beat us this season, right, I haven't been overly impressed with Newcastle's performances this season. And that, from, I think, Lewis Hall, was absolutely disgraceful. Shaw lets the ball run, but Shaw's there to retrieve it. Now it's Tonali. How the Magpies going to respond to going a goal down? Because now, like I said, they've been the worst team in the final third, which is, again, quite surprising, if I'm honest. When I look at both teams, you've got Lewis Hall again being the one that brings the ball forward for Newcastle. He gets it out wide to Gordon. Gordon once again gets the better of... No, he doesn't actually. I thought he was clear of Dalot there to get the tackle in, but to get the cross in. But Dalot recovers nicely. But I think he has sort of in consequence to that given away another corner to Newcastle. But United won't be too worried because I don't think Newcastle have been great from these corners. As much as I say that they've got a bigger advantage physically and aerially to Man United, I don't think they've done really too much with these corners. But Tonali can prove me wrong here and make a difference. He whips it in. Again, headed away at the front post by United. Now it's Mount. Inside to Cunha. Cunha's got space to run into. He's got Sesko overlapping. Mount inside. He's still got Sesko overlapping. He just about finds Sesko. The pass is a bit wayward. Sesko crosses it in. And it's cleared by Ramsey. But Dorgu again tries to loft one across into the box, but it's straight at Ramsdale, who claims it. Who seems to have walked off that earlier little hamstring cramp that he had earlier in the first half. But again, yeah, these corners from Newcastle are absolutely poor. Miley now. Bruno. Back to Miley. Now it's Shaw. Back out to Lewis Miley. Now it's Murphy. Again, Newcastle not really able to get an opening going forward. Again, most of their best attacking work has come from Lewis Hall and Gordon down the left-hand side. Gordon's just had to come deep to try pick up the ball, and then he's forced a long ball long, dealt with by Dalot. Now it's Dorgu. He spins Lewis Hall, and he's away. He's got Mount ahead of him. He does find Mount. Mount tries to skip round Hall, but the pass is blocked or intercepted even by Fabian Schär. Now it's back to Ramsdale. Ramsdale forward. Cleared by Ugarte. One back again by Ugarte. Now it's Dorgu. Back to Haven. Just takes a moment on the ball as we reach the half an hour, as we sort of approach the half an hour mark. Still 1-0 to United at Old Trafford. Newcastle still really yet to have a clear sort of opportunity on goal. Dalot. That's a poor pass inside. And that's even poor attempt at controlling the ball by Tonali. And now it's Cunha. He goes out wide to Shaw. That was Martinez. Back to Le Mans. United have only had one clean sheet this season. And that's drawing with West Ham for the second lowest unit with Wolves, who have not kept a clean sheet this season. Which is quite obvious, really. Miley. Bruno. Shaw. Again, it's up. Oh, my bad. This first half an hour has not been great for Newcastle going forward. I think they're too over reliant on Hall to carry the ball forward. No one else seems to want to progress this ball forward. But we've got Bruno now. He finds Voltamada, who's had to drop really, really deep to get this ball. I mean, you got Lewis Hall sort of stood in the 9 position at the moment as Voltemada drops deep, and you've got Gordon filling in at left back. Gordon skips inside Dorgu, tries to play a 1-2 with Voltemada, but the ball's won back by Mount. Now it's Sesko out wide to Shaw. Shaw's got time and space to try line up the cross, but the low cross is cleared by Shaw, and that'll be another throw into Man United. Again, can Shaw execute this long throw to create another opportunity for United after that opener from Dorgu? No, he goes short to Martinez. United is sort of going to try and enjoy a long spell of possession here in the last 15 minutes of the first half, whilst leading 1-0 at Old Trafford. Again, you know, if they get into half-time 1-0, they'll feel like they're safe. They'll feel like they'll at least get a point out of this game, and you can't really blame them. But you've got Dalot now. He plays it inside to Dorgu. Goes out for United throw-in after a tackle from Shaw. Dalot, Haven, Casemiro. Now Martinez, Shaw, Casemiro. Martinez, Cunha takes a nice touch round Miley. Miley tries to beat him in a foot waste, couldn't, tries to slide in to win the ball. Cunha still comes away with it. Then as he goes for the cut back to Mount, it is, you know, Chow puts a, was that Murphy even? Murphy was the one that put a stop to that move and sees out for a United corner. Again, Miley gets beat far too easily there. And then you've got Murphy absolutely charging back, and he sees that one out for Manchester United corner. Again, the corner to be taken by Mason Mount. 31 minutes on the clock at Old Trafford. Still 1-0 to United. Corner comes in from Mount. It's headed clear by Miley. Only as far as Ugarte on the edge of the box. But has it been given as a foul? Been given as a foul in the box there against United? What happened there? Yeah. Looks like there was a foul in the box from United. Ramsdale takes free kick short to Shaw. And he goes to Shaw. And now it's Lewis Hall. Shaw goes for the long pass out to Miley, but it's intercepted by Cunha. Now United have the ball. Martinez, Shaw. It's back to Le Mans. And then hoofs it forward. Sesko brings it down for Mount. Exactly, Yudi. You get it, man. You get it. Dorgu now. Ventures into the Newcastle box once again. Shoots. Ramsdale gets down low to save it. And it goes out for another Manchester United throw-in. Again, I think Dorgu. I think both of the sort of left-sided defenders, if you will. I mean, I don't know if you'd really say that Dorgu's playing as a defender have been the better players going forward. I think Lewis Hall for Newcastle, even though Newcastle have barely done anything in the attacking third, but I think Dorgu's been absolutely essential to everything that United are trying to do going forward in this game. Now it's Dalot. Cunha. Now it's Macy Mount. He tries to thread one through to Ugarte, but it's once again Shaw that clears it for another United throw-in. But now, yeah, Udi, this game's looking dark for Newcastle at the minute. It's looking really, really dark. And going into this game, I thought they were heavy favourites, especially looking at United team. But United are playing some decent stuff at the moment. But I don't know if that's just, you know, down to the fact that Newcastle aren't playing particularly well. I mean, defensively, I don't think they've been bad, despite being 1-0 down. I just think going forward, they're just completely out of ideas. Voltemada gets to that first. It's only as far as, once again, Dorgu on the edge of the box. And now Dalot's cross is blocked by Guimaraes, and Ramsdale can just about prevent it from going out for a corner. Then Ramsdale throws it long in search of Gordon, but once again it's dealt with by Haven at the back, and now it's Dalot. Lisandro Martinez. Newcastle just can't do anything going forward at the moment. It's actually quite depressing. Martinez. You know, again, this is kind of a very reminiscent of the Aston Villa game. I just think United were first to take their chances in this, and they've limited sort of Newcastle to less chances, because again, Aston Villa didn't get that many chances against United in the first half. It was just an absolute moment of magic from Rodgers that sort of gave them the lead, and again, the second goal was again brilliant from Rodgers. So, you know, it's not like United can't defend. I just think they do struggle to take a lot of their chances with the forwards that they employ at the club at the moment. Mount, Cunha, Dorgu, now it's Cunha again. He lines up the shot and he just kind of just mishits that and curls it completely wide of Ramsdale's goal, and it's going to be a goal kick. But yeah, I think Cunha's been good as well today. I think, you know, I wasn't the biggest fan of him at the start of the season when he first joined United. I thought he could have done a lot better. But, you know, I think he's been good today. I think him and Dorgu have been good. I think Mount's been pretty decent as well going forward. I think Sesko, you know, some of his touches are quite loose. His movement's not great. But I wouldn't say he's terrible. I just think he kind of hinders the link-up play a little bit with how heavy some of his first touches and how loose some of his passes are. We've got Ramsey in the box. Now, he lays it back out to Bruno, and then it's back to Ramsey. Now it's Bruno again. He goes back to Murphy. Now Bruno. It's tackled by Cunha, but it's kept on the pitch by Murphy. Was that... No, that was Miley, my bad. Now it is Murphy. And he's tackled by Casemiro. And it's going to be a throw into Newcastle. Can Newcastle try get themselves back into this game in the end of the first half? You know, I'm not too hopeful of that. I don't think they've shown nearly enough sort of attacking promise to even warrant getting a goal here. But, you know, it's not about how many chances you get. It's about how you take them, I guess. Well, I mean, when Ramsey's playing passes like that out wide, you're not going to score, are you? Because that's just diabolical. That's one of my biggest pet peeves in football, when a midfielder has the ball and goes to play out wide and just completely plays out of play. Like, come on, man. You're under zero pressure there. Absolutely no pressure. Casemiro has not scored, unfortunately. It was Patrick Dorgu that scored. Casemiro did not score. Cunha's had his shot on target though, so I'm just waiting for Voltemada to do something. But with the way Newcastle are playing, I don't think he's getting a shot on target, if I'm being totally honest, because Newcastle are absolutely woeful. Absolutely woeful. Shaw tries to take it past Miley, but Miley deals with it well. And this time Newcastle actually keep it on the pitch instead of putting out for a United throw. Again, Voltemada's just, I think, dropping too far deep to get involved with this game for them to even have any hopes of sort of scoring a goal. Because as soon as they get the ball, Voltemada's picking up the ball and he's wrestling with the centre midfielders instead of the centre backs. And then by the time he's distributed the ball, you know, who are they passing forward to? Because he's not there. So I think he just needs to sort of stay on the front line. You know, if I was to criticise Voltemada on anything, it's he's just too eager to get involved in the game. Sometimes you just got to sit up top and wait for the ball. And I know it's frustrating when your team aren't creating chances, but you dropping deep to sort of help link up the play is not helping anyone. Ugarte is now steaming forward, but Miley gets there first to prevent any sort of mishaps from Newcastle there. And then Ramsdale punts it long. Voltemada's just lost an aerial duel to Lisandro Martinez. Now it's Cunha. He goes inside to Sesko. That's a nice touch around the corner to Dorgu, who's then brought down by Bruno in a clean tackle. And now it's Tonali. He tries to play it wide to Murphy, but it's dealt with by Martinez. And now Shaw comes again inside to Ugarte. Now it's Mount. Ugarte, and now it's Casemiro again. Haven. Casemiro. Ignore me, yeah, I'm dropping the... Whoa. Maguire's not going to... Now that I look at what you've said, yeah, Maguire's not going to score a header when he's not even on the pitch. Right? You know. And not only is he not on the pitch, right, He's not even on the bench, so I don't know what you're kind of expecting Maguire to do. Lewis Hall loses out to Dorgu there. Now Dorgu plays a nice little 1-2 with Casemiro, and now it's Ugarte. Takes a nice touch around Voltemada and then undoes all that hard work by passing the ball straight to Ramsey. Tell you what, with some of the shots that I've seen this game and some of the passes I've seen this game, it wouldn't surprise me if the ball landed at Maguire's skull in the stands. Bruno now out to Murphy. Murphy gets a first time cross in, and it just zips all the way across the face of the goal and out for a throw-in on the complete other side of the pitch. Just 5 minutes left of this first half, and that's probably been Newcastle's best opportunity of the half. Is that a free kick on Voltemada? Probably not, but Sesko gets his pockets picked really deep on the pitch, and then yeah, Murphy plays across. It beats the keeper, it beats Martinez, but Voltemada's just too slow to get there, and Gordon's hasn't anticipated that either, and it's went straight out for a throw-in for United on the other side. So it really does not look like Newcastle are sort of looking to get back into this game next. I honestly believe, I haven't seen it with my own eyes yet, but I honestly believe she's probably got the technical ability of a tractor. And I'll put that to the test. I'll get the football at her feet, and I bet you she's got the technical ability of a tractor. Ramsdale. Now it's Miley. Bruno. Now it's Fabian Schär. He's inside to Bruno. He's got Lewis Hall outside. But again, Dorgu gets to the ball first and puts it out. I mean, he's my man in the first half for sure. And that's not even just because of his goal. Oh, I'd absolutely murk her in a Pana match. Like, she's probably got the first touch of a curb. And I know she can hear all of this. And she knows it's true. Dallo now. His throw goes all the way through to Newcastle. Now it's Ramsdale. 3 minutes left of this first half. Still 1-0 to United. So if things stay like this, it's going to put real pressure on Newcastle. She definitely does not have the facilities to pull out a sombrero flick. This is actually atrocious from Newcastle going forward. Like, it's just not good. Yeah, this Dorgu goal is an absolute beauty. Now I don't know, man. I don't think she's got it about her, if I'm honest. I'm pretty sure she told me she's never played football. So yeah, this looks to be. This looks to be the end of the first half for Newcastle. They do not look like they're getting anything from this first half. Like, their passes forward are all very hopeful, and any time they've looked to sort of do any damage, it's been through Hall and Gordon. Obviously, apart from that Jacob Murphy cross. But, there's still a minute left. Schär, now it's Schär. Inside to Tonali, he turns. And then goes back to Schär after getting closed down by Sesko and Mount. Ramsey. Nah, but like they might be up for it, yeah. But you've got to remember. One moment, Voltamada's no, never mind. He's brought down. They might be up for the second half, but you've got to remember this Man United winning after being, you know, leading at half time at Old Trafford record is, you know, you're not breaking that. There's some serious black magic tied to that record. I think Bergkamp's still definitely, don't get it twisted, Bergkamp's still definitely got a better first touch than you. Tonali's now down injured. So yeah, I just don't see United losing this record, man. There's been too many games where they've been on the absolute verge of throwing that record away, and it's just you know, they've just been saved by some other worldly being. Ooh, that's gonna hurt actually from Tonali. Yeah, you have the best I've seen, like in actual having footballing experience playing against. Yeah, have I played against Dennis Bergkamp? No. Have I played against Bernardo Silva? No. Have I played against Riyad Mahrez? No. Have I played against Lionel Messi? No. No, I haven't. So you may have had the best I've seen in a footballing setting, in like a one-on-one, in a match setting, right? But I've definitely seen better first touches in my life than that. We've got Tonali back on his feet, just hobbling off the pitch. Then Newcastle have us back under play for the last minute of the 2 added additional minutes. And yeah, I think this is definitely the end of the first half. I don't see anything else interesting transpiring in this last like 20 seconds or so. You know, it has been a good half from United, but I just think Newcastle have been extremely underwhelming. Probably prime Walcott, because last time Yudi saw Bully Van, it got kind of dark. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go with Walcott for that one. But Gordon now. Now it's Bruno. Shaw. Now it's Gordon. One last chance to make something happen in this first half for Newcastle. And he has to go wide to Tonali because there's no openings down the middle. Now it's Hall. Back to Tonali. And he goes wide to Shaw. Now it's Miley. Murphy. Into Bruno. Then back out to Murphy. Murphy can whip this cross in. He does. And then Dorgu's the one that gets to it first. And then it's cleared by Ugarte. Shaw does pick it up and get it back to Ramsey. So there might be one last chance for Newcastle. Hall. Tonali. Shaw. Hall. Tonali. He goes for the cross. And it hits the first man, which was Casemiro. And it's cleared by United once again. And that should be half-time, that one now. Yeah, and that is half-time. So United go in 1-0 up at half-time at Old Trafford. And you know what that usually means. That should be, you know, that should be at least 1 point in the bag for United. But, you know, anything could happen in the second half. But based on what I've seen from Newcastle in that first half, that was absolutely appalling. That was absolutely just shameless. Like, really, really bad, if I'm honest with you. Really, really, really bad. But, you know, like I said, anything could happen, but I don't see an improvement in their performance at all. I don't see that coming at all. This is like, I don't know, this look completely out of ideas. Like, every pass they play forward, like every time they go to play the ball forward, they just like You know, it just looks like they're hoping and praying with a long ball, right? It's just like a hopeful long ball. There's no precision. There's only been one or two players that look like they want to carry the ball forward. And then when you look at United, when they get the ball, you know, Ugarte wants to take the ball forward. Sesko wants to take the ball forward. Mount wants to take the ball forward. Dorgu definitely wants to take the ball forward. You know, all of United players want to progress the ball, right? And, you know, their final ball might not be the best, right? But when you compare that to what Newcastle are doing, it looks like nobody other than Hall and maybe Gordon want to progress that ball by moving up the pitch. And then their passes, these Newcastle passes forward have not been great. They all look hopeful. How many times have you seen Ugarte, Casemiro, Martinez, Haven get to the ball first? Get to the ball first off one of these long balls. You know, I think Voltemada's been a non-factor in the final third. You know, I think it's been a very, very poor showing from Newcastle, right? And I wasn't really expecting much again because they're away from St James's Park. I don't think they've been great this season. And now, yeah, Mo, I agree. Like Cunha, I think Cunha's like the combination that we get from Cunha, Sesko, and Mount is actually really good. I do think it's really, really good. I think the only thing that lets it down a bit is sometimes Sesko's touch when he gets the ball pinged into his feet is a bit, you know, is a bit loose, is a bit heavy, and sometimes his passing is not great. But some of the 1-2s and the 1-2-3s that they can play in that little triangle when they get the ball forward, between Mount, Cunha, and Sesko is very, very impressive. So, you know, I think Cunha has been probably the best central player for Manchester United. And then obviously their best player overall has definitely been Dorgu, and that's not just because of his goal. I just think he's been absolutely everywhere. He's been very good defensively. He's always carrying the ball forward. He's winning a lot of his duels, whether that's defensive duels or attacking duels, and obviously he got his goal, which is a bonus. So yeah, I think Cunha and Dorgu have definitely been the best players on this pitch. And when it comes to a Newcastle perspective, again, it's Lewis Hall. Again, looks to be the only one that really wants to make things happen. I thought he's had some very, very good moments, some good take-ons, but obviously nothing sort of has transpired from those because I think Newcastle have been very timid and very poor. In just sort of all regards, really, they don't even look to get stuck in. Like, you know, I think Newcastle away from home and Newcastle at home are two different teams. This game's at St James's Park and they're getting stuck in, and you know they're living for every slide tackle, but they just look scared. You know, they don't look like they know how to win this game, which is quite concerning, if I'm honest. But you know, anything could happen in the second half, like I've already said. I'm actually going to quickly open my window. It's actually boiling in here. 2 seconds. Boom, we are back. You know what I mean? It's not like I had to move far. Newcastle unable to get the ball out wide enough to Murphy and Gordon. Hasn't had much running, which has caused Voltemada to be a no-show. No, I think the issue with Voltemada is he's dropping too deep to try to get involved in this game because he's frustrated that he's not getting the ball in the final third. And when he's dropping deep, he's just clogging up the midfield, you know, and when he does win the ball and drop it off to either Ramsey, they drop it off to Ramsey or Bruno, you know, he's not there forward. I think, again, you know, Gordon and Murphy haven't had, you know, the best of times out wide, but I think Voltemada just needs to put that frustration to one side and sort of stay forward. And, you know, I think Newcastle have been good defensively in completing defensive actions. I just think they need to look to get the ball out and get the ball forward instead of putting it out for another United set piece every single time. Because Newcastle put in some good tackles and some good blocks, but every time it just results in a United throwing or a United corner. So they're just back to square one, and they're not actually relieving any pressure on themselves. So, you know, I do think a lot of what's going wrong for Newcastle is potentially their own doing. Again, I think a lot of their balls forward are forced. They're hopeful. You know, no one's really want to carry the ball forward. Everyone's being, you know, playing very scared and very timid. And I just think, you know, someone needs to get stuck in and sort of take this game by the scruff of the neck because it's there to be taken. Because, you know, although I think, you know, there have been some individually good moments from United, I don't think United have been anything special. I just think Newcastle have been extremely, extremely poor. So yeah, it's an interesting one though. It's a very, very interesting one. Hopefully Newcastle step it up for now, because right now United run away with this. Well, I mean, I think United are going to run away with this regardless. Again, like I keep saying, this Man United leading at half time at Old Trafford record is no joke, and I just don't see Newcastle stepping it up. Again, apart from the game against City, I don't think I've been impressed with the Newcastle performance this season. Like, I thought they were good in the first half against Chelsea, but obviously they went through that way. You know, I think Newcastle, to me, from what I've seen, and you know, I've watched a handful of Newcastle games this season in the league. The only game they've impressed me in was against City, and even then they were wasteful. Even then, you know, I thought, you know, they were wasteful. They were just slightly more clinical than City were, because City were not good enough on the day. So, you know, this Newcastle team's not great. You know, they're very one-dimensional, and their squad depth just isn't there. So when they're missing key players, you know, it's very, very sort of clear and obvious. So, you know, I don't think Newcastle are great by any means. You know, this season I think they've been especially poor, but you know, I think this is quite an embarrassing performance from what I'm seeing for them so far. And you know, they do have 45 minutes to turn it around, but I just don't see that happening. I just need my Voltamada, what is it? A shot on target to get my money, and then I'm a happy man. Nah, not 100% though, because obviously the semi-finals it takes place across 2 legs, so we do have to play at St James's, and you know, going to St James's is a struggle, you know, at the worst of times, well, at the best of times, should I say. So you know, it's gonna be an interesting game, and I don't think it's gonna be, you know, that easy, because Newcastle are always up for a game against City, and you know, they've caused us many issues in the past before. You know, so I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park. I mean, we've literally lost to Newcastle in the Carabao Cup in recent years. So, you know, it's not going to be a walk in the park. But, you know, if there was any Newcastle team of recent years I want to take on, it would probably be this one right now. They're just very underwhelming, I think. And it does make you wonder, has Eddie Howe took them as far as he can? Which is crazy to say, because he won a trophy last season. But I just don't think this season they've been good enough, really. Remember, guys, like the stream if you haven't already. You know, it's always much appreciated. Subscribe to the channel, you know, if you're new around here. And obviously, after the stream ends, go and watch my newest video where I talk about the one position that could cause Manchester City issues this season. Obviously, I know this is a Man United watch-along, but obviously, as you can see, the main topic around here is City. I just, you know, I like watching Premier League football, so I might as well tune in for a watch-along while I'm doing that, innit, you know. It makes me feel more productive about it. You know, nah, you know when you sleep really awkwardly and hurt your neck? That's what I've done, and it actually kills. And it's like my lower neck as well, down onto my shoulder, and it just, oh, it absolutely kills. But you know, I'll live just about, I'll live. Boom. So yeah, no, I don't see Newcastle turning this around, but you know, for the love of the game and the good of this stream, you know, I don't know if I can watch another 1-0 win. Like, I need some entertainment in my life. So United, do something crazy. Just seen a tweet saying, have a feeling that United halftime record is going today. And I'm like, bro, like, what evidence have we seen for that? Predictions for Forest away tomorrow. I mean, it's going to be a difficult game. It's going to be a difficult game, you know. The City Ground's not a very pleasant place to go to. And Sean Dyche ball is definitely not pleasant football to be playing against. But I think we can get a result. I think we can win that. I think we're in too good a form to not win that game. But I do think it's going to be a task. It's going to be a difficult game. You know, if I go and look at some of the other fixtures we've got on that are on tomorrow, because I'm not actually too sure who Arsenal are playing and who Villa are playing. If I look at the games going on around us, right, I think we might have the hardest fixture. Obviously, Arsenal are at home to Brighton. Villa away to Chelsea. I'd say we'd 100% probably got the harder fixture there. I think I could see Villa getting a result at Stamford Bridge, and you'd expect Arsenal to win at the Emirates. I don't think Brighton have been great this season, despite again the fact that they've beaten us. You know, it seems to be a theme about teams that have beaten us. I think there's only been one team this season that have beaten us, which I think are having a good season. It's obviously Villa. So you know, we definitely have the hardest game of the lot, and obviously that being at 12:30 as well, early kickoff. Doesn't look fun. Does not look fun, but you know, I'm optimistic, mostly because I don't have to watch that. Like I've said, I'm going to be at work tomorrow. I think it's like 11 till 6, so I don't have to sit through that because I've got a feeling it's going to be a painful experience. But you know, I'm optimistic that we can hopefully get a result and keep pushing and closing the gap on Arsenal. But you know, it's going to be a difficult one. Definitely going to be a difficult one. I'd say probably if we do win that game, probably 2-1, 1-0 maybe. You know, I don't think we'll absolutely run riot. Jeez, man, if I can get my words out, I don't think we'll absolutely run riot. I've just done it again. I don't think we'll absolutely dominate the game. There we go. You know, that's a lot easier to say. Don't think we'll absolutely dominate the game, but yeah. Pep serious though, putting the players on a diet during Christmas. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, our best player at the moment doesn't even celebrate Christmas, so you know we should be good. But yeah, you know, obviously we still got Doku out injured, but you know I think we can do the business. Foden, Shirky, Haaland. You know, Vinders, if he wants to play like he did against West Ham, you know, we could be cooking. We definitely could be cooking. Definitely could be cooking. We're getting ready for the second half now. It does look like Fletcher will be coming on. So yeah, Mason Mount's coming off for Jack Fletcher. Only change of half time. So Newcastle are making no changes. Just United. Nah, Santi, nah, you're spitting, bro. You're spitting. I actually think he's been good. I actually think, like, I've never been a fan of Dorgu. Most times I've watched him, I thought he's been bang average. But this baller sesh that he's having right now this could feed generations. Especially with some of the performances you've had to watch recently. This Dorgu performance will feed generations for you lot, certainly. Cunha gets us back underway for the second half, and you'd expect more of the same from United, but you know Newcastle really do need to step their game up because they have been nothing short of absolutely horrendous. Got Dallo now, he gets it into Cunha. Now it's Fletcher for his first touch. He goes back to Casemiro, and now it's Ugarte. Casemiro. Once again, another United player has been misprofiled. Nah, to be fair, the most egregious one will still always be, was it Mourinho just playing McTominay as a holding midfielder just because he was tall? That one will always be my favourite. Voltemada now, that's a alright touch back to Ramsey. He takes a touch inside and has been brought down by Casemiro when he's just about to pull the trigger. But now we got Bruno, tries to slide it into Voltemada. He just about does, but he dribbles the ball into traffic. And then Luke Shaw gets it out for a United throw. Now, yeah, because I'd always say, yeah, right, obviously, McTominay would play holding midfield, and people would only gas up McTominay's performances when he was scoring goals, which technically was not his job at the time, right? So it was very clear and obvious, right, that he wasn't a holding midfielder, right? That's even if you take away the evidence of him playing in the academy, right? Because again, players can be, you know, remolded and reshaped. You look at Nico O'Reilly again. He's an attacking midfielder, but he plays left back and he's very comfortable at left back. Mateus Nunes as well, playing right back. But it was very, very clear that McTominay was not good at being a holding midfielder. His bread and butter was box crashing, and any time he played well for United, it was when he was box crashing. So I don't understand. Like, I just feel like United actually have a reluctance of signing a decent holding midfielder. Like, Casemiro aside, right? Because I still think the amount of money paid for Casemiro and like the actual return on investment with how many like quality performances he's put in is still quite poor. But when you even like just take that signing out of consideration, because it was a short-term solution to a long-term problem, like signing him and Eriksen just to then look for replacements for him and Eriksen a year later was awful business. But like, yeah, you know, you seem actually allergic to signing someone that can actually play as a holding midfielder well, because Ugarte's terrible, Amrabat was not great. It's kind of like Chelsea in signing a number 9, or City in signing a left back. It just doesn't happen, does it? It just doesn't happen. Free kick now to Newcastle on the edge of the United box. Hall plays it short. Murphy crosses it in. It's headed clear by Sesko. And then Ugarte can carry it forward, kind of. He then ends up passing it back to Martinez. Now it's Casemiro. He goes forward to Sesko, who brings it down and then runs straight into traffic. And now it's Murphy. Bruno. Miley. Lewis Hall. He goes back to Murphy. He wasn't really expecting that ball to go to his feet. Now it's Shaw. Miley. Murphy. Once again teeing up across. This time it hits offshore and it's another Newcastle corner. And I don't think United will be too worried, because these Newcastle corners in this game have been absolutely woeful. Absolutely woeful. But nevertheless, corner to be taken. And it's Lewis Hall to step over the corner. Is this the one for Newcastle? Corner comes in. Once again cleared by United. Only as far as Bruno, but his header forward is intercepted by Casemiro. But he wins it back again, and now it's Gordon charging into the box. He goes to cross it in, but his cross hits off Martinez, and that'll be another corner to Newcastle. Is this going to be the one finally that they get right? Should be Tonali to take this one, I'd imagine. No, it'll be Miley instead, actually. Voltemada, I'm still looking for your shot on target, buddy. Cross comes in from Miley. Once again, it's first met by a United player, but then it's brought down by Shaw. He takes a shot at goal and it hits off Dorgu and out for another corner. But once again, the original corner is not great. It's met first by Haven again. And it's a decent shot by Shaw, but obviously the touch off Dorgu takes that wide. Hall this time again on the corner. That one's once again met by a United player first. And then Fletcher sees the ball out for a Newcastle throw. But we do have Dorgu on the ground now. I'm guessing this is from a collision as he went up to clear that ball. I'm not too sure what's happened there. Let's see that one again. Oh, he's just got Shou's fingers in his eyes, I think. Yeah, that is going to be a sore one, to be fair. That's not going to feel great. But he is back up on his feet. Throw into Newcastle, and it looks like it's going to be a long throw. Taken by Hall. Again, Newcastle still have not had a great, any great chances. Cross comes in. Back stick to Shah, but it's seen out by Shaw, and that'll be another Newcastle corner. You know, again, they're second best at all of these balls. Every aerial duel, second best, second best, second best. Which is actually quite appalling when you actually think that they've got a lot bigger players in the box than United. This is real poor showing from Newcastle. Very, very poor showing. Hall, this time he goes short to Ramsey. Then he hits out to Murphy, who whips one in. Once again, the first player to that is Casemiro. And now it's Sesko. Tonali wins it back. Now it's Gordon. His pass out wide is intercepted by Casemiro. Now it's Martinez. Casemiro. He goes long to Dorgu, but it's intercepted by Tonali. Dorgu once again hits the deck. That'll be a foul by Tonali. Free kick to United. Yeah, this Newcastle performance, ladies and gentlemen, is something, alright. It is something. But it's something good? No, definitely not. It's just disgraceful, really. Ramsdale. I think my bet's gone. I don't think Voltemada's getting a shot on target, especially with the way Newcastle are attacking. This is dark stuff. Shaw. He goes inside to Voltemada. Now out to Miley. He hits it forward to Murphy. Murphy once again goes for the cross, but it's blocked by Shaw, and it goes out for a throw-in. That throw-in's taken quickly to Shaw. And then plays it across to Cher. And now it's Hall. Hall back across to Miley. I don't think he was the intended target, but he's the one the ball gets to. And now it's Murphy. Murphy takes a touch inside, then back to Tonali, then across to Chow. Now Hall. Gordon. Gordon with a cross. And it's claimed by Le Mans. It's just awful. I honestly think you could stick Newcastle out here for 3 hours and they still wouldn't score. Miley. Tonali. He's under pressure, but he gets it back to Shaw, who finds Ramsdale. Now Miley. Shaw. Back inside to Tonali. Hall. Is he going to be the one to take the ball forward for Newcastle? No, he goes back to Fabian Schär. Schär goes long. Out to Miley. Miley brings it down. He's got Murphy ahead of him. He goes for the pass to Murphy. Gets it inside to Murphy, but then he's dispossessed by Casemiro. Now it's Ugarte. Inside to Fletcher even, but he's dispossessed. Now it's Tonali. But it won't be long until United get this ball back, because this attacking play from Newcastle is some of the worst I've seen, if I'm honest. It's really, really bad. Like, just really bad. Very uninspiring. Once again, Cunha can see the ball out for a goal kick. I just don't know what they're expecting to achieve here. We approach the hour mark, still 1-0 at Old Trafford. And it looks like it's going to stay that way. As much as I criticise Newcastle, they've had most of the possession this second half, but they're just doing absolutely nothing with it. So I don't think United are going to be too worried. Obviously, an insurance goal would be nice for them, but you know, Newcastle don't look like they're doing anything with all this possession they're getting. Dorgu's dispossessed by Hall, and now it's Ramsey. Shah. Now Tonali. His pass to Hall is absolutely woeful, and it's won back by Dalot. Now it's Sesko. He goes back to Havern, who then goes back to Le Mans. He goes forward, but there's nobody there to meet it. Now it's Murphy. He goes inside to Bruno. Now it's Miley. Miley pass across the pitch. He just about escapes Sesko. Now it's Tonali. Just not. It's just not good enough, is it? And like, I even look at their bench, and I don't see anyone that's going to change this game. Because like, Barnes and Alanga are good and all, right? Very good at carrying the ball forward, but like in front of goal, are they really what you want? Probably not. And that's what I learned from the Chelsea game. Despite the fact Barnes bagged the brace against us, like, you know, I don't just see anyone on the bench that's really going to claw this game back for them. Maybe Visser. It's Bruno. Shaw. Hall. No, it's Anthony Gordon. Gordon takes on Dalot. And then his cross is cleared by Ugarte. And once again, Newcastle have the ball back with their centre-backs. That's Miley. Murphy, Tonali. Miley. Oh, it's Bruno. Ramsey. Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär still. Now Casemiro comes away with it. Now it's Sesko. His pass to Dorgu. Dorgu just about keeps the ball on the pitch. Has he got the beating of Hall? No, he doesn't. And the ball finds its way back to Ramsdale. Now it's Bruno. He's closed down by Ugarte. And now it's Sesko running onto it, who I think was in an offside position. He shoots. He hits the bar. And I don't think he was offside, actually. That's going to be a goal kick. That was a very good opportunity for Sesko. Let's look at that one again. No, he was onside. He was definitely onside. You know, he picks up the ball. It's good awareness from him. Shoots. It's a decent shot, you know. It's probably just puts too much on it. He's got Ramsdale beaten for sure. 100% has Ramsdale beaten, but he just can't sneak the ball into that top corner. And that definitely would have been game over for United. But that is Sesko's game over. He's going to be replaced by Joshua Zirkzee. And Lenny Yoro looks to be entering the play as well for Casemiro. Interesting. Does that mean Lissandra is going into midfield? So yeah, we got Lenny Yoro on for Casemiro and Joshua Zirkzee on for Benjamin Sesko. Still no changes for Newcastle though. As we reach the hour mark, still 1-0 to United. Tonali. Voltemada heads that towards goal, but it's just wide of the target, and Le Mans can pick it up. No real danger again on the United goal. And again, like, despite all the possession they've had going forward, I still think United have had the best chance of the second half. And obviously that's that Sesko chance that he just hit the crossbar with. But, you know, Lewis Hall takes a lovely touch around Ugarte. Then lines one up and hits off the inside of the crossbar. That would have been a beautiful, beautiful goal for Lewis Hall. But Bruno's still keeping this one alive here. Now it's Murphy. He crosses it in. Is that going to reach Voltemada? No. It's headed clear by Yoro. Another shot by Hall from the edge of the box. This one deflects off Dalot and it goes out for a corner. But no, that first chance from Lewis Hall, oh my. He runs onto the loose ball in the midfield, takes a touch round Ugarte. Haven backs off. He takes the shot and it just hits off. Is that the inside of the crossbar or is that just the outside of the crossbar? I'm not actually too sure from the angle. He hits it. It's a beautifully hit shot. And yeah, it just hits off the crossbar and back out. But another corner for Newcastle. Once again, the first to it is a United player. Then Shah hits it back into the mix. Headed down by Voltemada. But United should just about get this clear. No, they don't. It's Murphy. Now it's Miley. But United have a player down, and I think that looks like Lewis Hall down on the... So we've got Lissandro Martinez, Hall, and Cunha, I think, all down on the floor at the moment. I'm not too sure what's happened there to Martinez. Cross comes in. It's headed by Dalot. Only as far across as Shaw. Martinez... Shaw is even... claiming for a handball. It does hit Martinez's hand, but I don't know if he's like, if he knows too much about that, really. I don't know if you can give that one as a handball. I guess I'll have a look, but I don't know. I think that's a bit too close for them to sort of really say that they can give that as a penalty. I think it definitely does hit his arm. It hits his armpit first, but then it definitely does ricochet up and hit his arm. But is that too close? Is that too close? Is the real question here. I mean, personally, I'd want this to be given as a penalty because Voldemort will probably take it and he'll probably score it. But I actually don't know if that's too close for them to give a penalty, you know. I don't know if he's got really much time to move his hand out of the way. And yeah, the decision's no penalty. I didn't think that would be given as a penalty, to be fair. Quite disappointing though, you know. Still not got this Voltemada shot on target. To be fair, seeing this Newcastle performance, they probably wouldn't have scored the penalty anyway. Newcastle have us back underway after that brief penalty check. Can they finally make something happen? Tonali. Gordon. His first duel against Yoro and he gets the better of him. Now it's Voltemada. He tries to cut that back to Tonali but it's intercepted by Xerxes. And now it's Cunha, who releases Dorgu with the over-the-top ball. And Fabian Schär just gets there before him. Dorgu 100% had the beating of Miley in that foot race, but Shah does well to get across and prevent the danger and win the throw-in as well. Yeah, Newcastle had 5 shots this second half of 10 touches in the opponent's box, and obviously United just have the 1 for each, and that was that Sesko shot. But again, United aren't going to be too worried because Newcastle are doing absolutely nothing. Joel Linton and Visser and Barnes are all getting ready. So it looks like I will not get my Voltemada shot on target. But if he comes on he should come off for Visser. And hopefully Visser can, you know, can change that for me. Murphy. He goes for the cross. This one's blocked by Dorgu. But instead of going out for a corner, Dorgu tries to bring it down. But he takes it out for a throw-in instead. Yeah, Joelinton, Barnes and Visser all ready to come on this pitch. And I'm going to guess for Gordon, Ramsey and Voltemada are my predictions. Tonali with a cross now. That's an absolutely terrible cross. Hall wins the ball back though. He goes to Gordon. Now across the Shaw. Now it's Tonali. Now it's Miley. Now it's Murphy. He goes inside. Then passes it out wide to Bruno, who finds Miley. Back into Bruno, who drops it back to Miley, who gets it inside to Murphy, who then gets one inside to Gordon, and his shot is just wide. That's probably Newcastle's best chance of the second half, and it's come 66 minutes into the game. Like, it's just been it's just like, I'm running out of words to describe how poor this has actually been from Newcastle. You know, that was a well-worked move. You know, Gordon, there's not much you could do from that angle, to be fair. That's a difficult angle, especially if you're going across the goal. Obviously, you'd probably want to just lash that at the near post and hope the goalkeeper can't react quick enough. But yeah, we've got Visser on the pitch now. Joelinton and Harvey Barnes. And I'm going to guess it was for the 3 players that I said would come off. No, it's for Murphy, Voltemada, and Ramsey. So, Gordon stays on. And that should now change to me needing a Visser shot on target. If the app wants to update. App has not updated yet, so at the moment I still need a Voltemada shot on target, because that's going to happen, isn't it? Dorgu now advancing the ball forward. He goes inside to Xerxes, but Newcastle win the ball back. Sure. Xerxes. Foul throw from Shaw. I was about to say offside, but you can't be offside from a throw, and I'm going mad. I'm going extremely mad. It has now updated now, so we just need the Visser shot on target. Hopefully he has better luck than Voltemada, because wow, that was uninspiring. Hopefully Barnes and Visser could change Newcastle's luck going forward. Now it's Hall. Gordon beaten to the ball by Cunha. Sorry, that was Yoro, my bad. That looked like a 10 on his back. The quality on the screen just went really pixely. Tell you what, this stream from Sky is not, like, people pay good money for this, bro. Like, I don't pay good money for it, but people do pay good money for this. That's not me saying I'm illegally streaming this, by the way. I'm just not the one that pays for it. But this is... So sometimes I'm watching these streams from Sky and I'm like, wow, people pay some serious money for this. And it is absolute garbage. Dorgu now. He goes back to Shaw. Now it's Martinez. He goes forward to Dorgu. Then to Fletcher, who gets it round the corner to Dorgu, who crosses it in. It's missed by Shaw, but no United players there to capitalise on it, and it's hit forward towards Gordon. But the ball's brought down by Haven and then into Yoro. Now it's Ugarte. Back to Lemons. And he hits that one forward towards Xerxes. Xerxes brings the one down and knocks it on. But no United player there to capitalise. Now it's Miley. Now it's Fabian Schär. Shaw. 20 minutes of this game left. Still United 1, Newcastle 0. And it does look like it's going to stay that way, because United aren't creating enough chances and Newcastle aren't finishing their chances, really. Miley. Bruno. Now it's Shaw. Plays it into Joelinton. Bruno now takes a free kick, because apparently that was a free kick. I think the ref should have just played on, but Oh well, Bruno, Tonali. Sure. Now it's Gordon. Gordon hits the cross into the box. Again, it's United player that gets there first. Oh, bless me, man. Miley. He crosses the ball in towards Visser. Visser brings it down for Joe Linton. Joe Linton wrestles the ball off the United defender, and then his shot is blocked. But here come Newcastle again. Tonali. Miley. Now it's Barnes. He tries to find Miley, but that pass is intercepted. Barnes again. His pass inside intercepted by Ugarte. Now it's Xerxes. That's a foul by Tonali. Yeah, Newcastle, this is... if I'm a Newcastle fan, I'm fuming at this performance. It's been absolutely diabolical. So, yellow card for Tonali. Martinez on the free kick. He lofts it forward. It's brought down by Dallo. Oh, and he lofts it over the bar. All he had to do was keep that down and calmly slot that one into the back of the net, and that's 2-0 for United. But he's rushed that. Free kick comes in. Oh no, he's offside anyway. Nah, he's offside. Never mind. It's offside. It's a good touch, but yeah, the finish. He just snaps at the finish. Wouldn't have counted anyway, but that's a excellent pick out from Martinez from that free kick, and yeah. Tonali. Bruno. Shaw. Miley. Bruno. Still Bruno. Out wide to Gordon. Then picks out Hall on the overlap, who's got acres and acres of space, but his cross straight into the keeper's hands. It's not good enough. Like, plain and simple, it's just not good enough. And you'd expect a lot better from Newcastle, a lot better. Because again, I don't think United have not been great in the second half, but I think they just know that Newcastle, they can allow Newcastle all his possession because they're going to do absolutely nothing with it. But here's Visser. Now Gordon. Gordon takes it around Yoro. Then crosses it in. Visser can't quite get his foot on it. And then it's cleared for Cunha to take the ball forward. He's dispossessed by Joe Linton, but it's picked back up by United. Now it's Shaw. He's running forward. He's got Xerxes ahead of him and Doku on the overlap. He finds Dorgu. Wasn't a great pass though. It kind of just took all of the sort of momentum out the attack. That wasn't like. Now it's Cunha again. Shaw. United just trying to kill time now. Dorgu, who's my man of the match. Still, even though I don't think he's done much in the second half, I still think of the first half alone, he's my man of the match, because I don't think, again, like I said, Newcastle have had all the ball, but they're not doing anything with it, so it's not a chance in hell I give this man of the match to a Newcastle player of what I'm seeing right now. Miley just about keeps it in, but does relinquish possession to Dorgu, and now it's Shaw, now it's Martinez, now it's Haven. Yoro. He takes a bit of a loose touch, but Gordon's not quick enough to capitalise on it, and it goes back to the keeper. Now it's Xerxes. Decent good hold-up play from Xerxes. Ugarte goes for a long pass and smacks it straight into Bruno. Newcastle won the ball back now. Shaw. Visser. That's a very, very poor pass, and once again, United have the ball with Dorgu. Fletcher. Ugarte. Martinez. He lumps it forward to Xerxes, but Shaw's the one that gets there first. And now it's Cunha, who can't get the better of Miley, who wins the ball back and gives it to Tonali. But Tonali's pass is intercepted by Ugarte, but it's hit out for a throw-in. It's just... we've got another substitution for Newcastle. It's going to be Tonali coming off for Joe Willock. Joe Linton. Lewis Hall. Now it's Guimaraes. It's got plenty of space to run into, but at the last second it's won back by Cunha, and it's going to be another corner to Newcastle, but yet again they're probably going to do nothing with it. It's going to be a poor game from Newcastle, but I think their set pieces have been possibly the worst part of it all. I mean, again, United have had two big chances in this game and they took one of them. Like, again, I think Sesko could have definitely done better, but with the way this is going, Dorgu's goal is going to be enough to see him the 3 points. Corner comes in. Ooh, that time it was a bit scrappy from United, but his foul's been given. It's going to be a free kick to United anyway. You know, still got 13 or 12, 13 minutes to get this Vista shot on target, but I don't think it's happening. I think the dream's dead. In all honesty, I think the dream's dead. Goal kick goes long in search of Xerxes. Then it's hit all the way forward by Martinez, straight to Ramsdale. Again, 8 shots from Newcastle, 19 crosses, right? Forcing 41 defensive actions from United, and not one of those has been a half decent attempt on goal. Joe Linton now to try get a cross in. It's originally blocked, and then he's almost forced a foul from Ugarte, who was doing some MMA type defending there. Xerxes battling with Shaw to win the ball. Miley comes in to intervene and win the ball back for Newcastle. Now it's time for them to go forward. Hall. Joe Linton. Bruno. Plays Gordon on the overlap. Gordon cuts it back. Looks to hang the ball up. Doesn't. Goes to Joe Linton, who just tries to place it into the near corner. And obviously it's an easy save from Le Mans, and another wasted chance by Newcastle. Again, there's slight hesitation from Gordon. Joe Linton screaming for it, and then by the time he gets it, he just looks completely unprepared for what he was going to do when he got the ball. So what was the point in him screaming for it then? Well, now we've got Miley. Bruno. Miley. Now it's Bruno. Hall. Gordon. Now it's Hall. He gets a cross in. This one hits off the head of Euro. And then cleared by United. Again, only as far as Hall. Gordon. Hall. Ten minutes left of this game, and again, I don't see a change in the score happening. You know, United have barely had a sniff going forward, and Newcastle are just appalling, absolutely appalling. Cunha now with a shot, and that goes wide. This is... I actually like... The quality of football I've seen in the second half has been nothing short of appalling. Like... And it doesn't even look like I'm going to get my Vissa shot on target. So this is just... This has just been like an L all round. It's going to be an L hate watch. I've watched some terrible football. And I'm not even going to... I'm going to lose money as well. Bruno. Plays it through to Willock, who shoots it straight at the keeper's hands once again. So if anyone wants to donate me a tenner to like recoup my losses, that would be very, very much appreciated. Very, very much appreciated, because now we got Joelinton. Bruno G. His pass is intercepted. Vissa wins it back though. And then it's dispossessed by Ugarte. And then it's still Vissa somehow, but it sees its way through to Le Mans. And United get it clear. Only as far as Shaw though, who recycles the ball to Hall. Now it's Bruno. Out to Gordon. Hall. Gordon. Inside to Joelinton. Now it's Shaw. Hall. Cross comes in. It's cleared by Dorgu. Now it's Willock. Miley. Barnes, who I haven't really seen much of since he's come on. Now Willock. He crosses the ball in. Goes over Joelinton's head. And is Hall just going to be able to keep that in play? No. So that'll be United throw-in. 7 minutes left of this game. Still 1-0 United. Dallo on the throw-in. Long throw by Dallo into the midfield, but it's intercepted by Bruno. Now it's Miley. Goes back to Shaw. Fabian Schär. Not gonna lie, going 90 minutes, well 83 minutes with neither of the strikers you've had on the pitch getting a shot on target is diabolical, especially when you've had as many chances as you had. This is an absolutely poor showing from Newcastle. And I'm going to keep repeating that because this is actually a crime against my eyes. Miley. Bruno. Barnes. He cuts it back to Gordon, and Gordon absolutely shanks it and puts it over the bar. That's, again, probably the best chance they've had in the second half, and it's been absolutely wasted by Anthony Gordon. Any Newcastle fans in chat want to tell me what you make of this performance, because this is diabolical. Sure. Forward to Xerxes, and he's wrestled off the ball by Shaw. Now it's Fabian Schär. Bruno Guimaraes. Forward to Willock, who's got Vissa and Joelinton ahead of him, but goes out wide to Barnes. Barnes gets a cross in, headed away by Martinez, and then put out by Fletcher for a throw into Newcastle. Now Willock. Bruno. Barnes. Bruno. Lewis Hall. Out to Gordon. Back to Shaw. Shaw back to Shaw. And now it's Miley. Now it's Willock. Bruno. Barnes. Miley with a cross. Hits Dorgu straight in the face, who stays down. And once again, the ref's going to blow the whistle. And then once again, as soon as the whistle's blown, Dorgu's back up on his feet. Typical, isn't it? But, you know, game's the game. Change for United now. Oh man, my neck's actually so stiff. Dalot being past the captain's armband by Martinez. A sight that would make me feel sick to my stomach if I was a United fan. Is that Malacia? No way am I about to watch Malacia play football in 2025. Do you remember when he went absolutely... Do you remember when he went missing for like a year? And no one had seen or heard anything from him? So we've got Fredrickson and Malacia coming on for Shaw and Martinez. Just to see this win out for United. Drop ball now. Barnes, Miley. Bruno G. Lewis Hall. 88 minutes and no Newcastle number 9 has had a shot on target. Cross comes into Shah and it's over and it's going to be a goal kick to United. This is diabolical, man. This is actually... I cannot believe the war crimes that I'm watching. Joe Linton heads the ball forward. Fredrickson will get there first. Now Xerxes. Dalot. He's dispossessed by Joe Linton, who's then dispossessed again by Dalot. Now it's Joe Linton again. Willock. Miley. Bruno Guimaraes. Barnes. Miley. Bruno again. Barnes. Miley. Willock. Miley again. Bruno. Now it's Hall. Now it's Anthony Gordon. Finds Hall on the underlap. Cross comes into Visser. Now it's Miley who absolutely shanks the ball again and it's over for a goal kick. All these chances in the box fall into the wrong people for Newcastle. Got 7 minutes of added time here at Old Trafford. But the game's still 1-0. And it, again, like I keep saying, looks like it's going to be staying 1-0. Long from Le Mans. Now it's Joe Linton. Hooked forward for Newcastle. Cleared by Malacia. Now it's Yoro. Headed forward by Miley. Fredrickson. Now it's Fabian Schär. Into the first minute of the 7 added on. Now it's Shaw. Plays out wide to Miley. Back inside to Bruno. Bruno looks to tee one up to Joe Linton, who heads it straight at the keeper. just diabolical, really. Like, there's not much else to be said. Looks like I'm losing out on my money as well. It's been a dark day for football. Dark day for football. Shaw, Lewis Hall, Gordon. Now it's Bruno. Ref blows for a free kick to Newcastle, despite the fact Newcastle were in possession. That's outrageous. And now there's been a yellow card to Cunha, I believe. Yeah, that probably does deserve a yellow, to be fair. Could have definitely played the advantage, though. That's Cunha's first yellow of the season. 92 minutes played. Ramsdale. Goes short to Bruno. Bruno hooks it out to Hall. Now it's Gordon. Takes a heavy first touch, but is able to retrieve the ball again and get it back to Bruno. Bruno goes out wide to Hall, who's in acres of space. He cuts inside. Back to Bruno. Now it's Miley. Back to Bruno. Bruno takes a touch around Xerxes. Again back to Miley. And now it's Hall. Bruno. He lofts one into the box. And claimed straight from Le Mans. And he's going to hang on to the ball. But you've got Yoro down holding his head. Despicable football, man. Absolutely despicable football. Dorgu. Malacia. Haven. Willock. Cunha. Dribble straight back into Willock. Ugarte again goes in for a bit of a late challenge, but ref waves play on. Now it's Gordon. Bruno. Joe Linton helps it back onto Bruno. Now it's Gordon. Gordon goes to cross this one in. It's a deep cross. It's claimed by the keeper. Just about. Yeah, this is... Newcastle fans, I'm sorry you have to watch this, man. This is dark stuff. Joe Linton. Shaw. Now it's Lewis Hall. Back to Ramsdale. Now it's Shaw, who can steam forward. Miley. Now it's Shimarash. Now Lewis Hall. Gordon. Tries to get the better of Dallo. Can't quite get rid of him. And then he crosses it and he goes straight out for a goal kick. 2 minutes left. Old Trafford. Still Man United 1, Newcastle 0. And I think everybody just wants the final whistle to go at this point. Because this is this terrible showing from Newcastle. Again, United haven't done much going forward in the second half. But all they've had to do is sit back and defend, really. Avoid Newcastle from stealing a cheap goal, because they're not crafting good enough chances for them to score to get any significant chance in the box. You just got to limit them from taking multiple touches in the box and just keep forcing the ball out for corners, because they're not going to do anything with said set piece. But now it's Shaw forcing the whole team forward. He hooks one across the field to Gordon, who heads it wide to Joe Linton, who goes back to Gordon, who tries to play it through to Lewis Hall, but Lenny Yoro gets there first, and now it's Dorgu to carry the ball forward for United, coming into the last minute of added time. Dorgu. Back to Malacia. And then forward to Xerxes, who can't bring the ball down. Now it's Ramsdale. One last chance for Newcastle to go forward. Lewis Hall. 97 minutes, by the way, and a Newcastle number 9 hasn't had a shot on target. That's disgraceful. That is disgraceful. Cunha puts it out for a Newcastle throw. 30 seconds left of this game at Old Trafford. It's now or never for Newcastle. Bruno. Inside to Joe Linton. He's got no options forward, so he has to go sideways to Hall, who goes out wide to Gordon. Gordon hooks one in. It's dealt with by Fredrickson. Now it's Barnes. Barnes takes a throw in as we've approached the 97th minute. Just mere seconds left in this game now for Newcastle. Now it's Miley. Bruno. Hall just has to hook the ball forward and hope. Once again, it's the first player to get there as a United player. Now it's Cunha. And then the final whistle's blown. That will be a win for Manchester United. That will be me minus £10 in my bank account. And, you know, that's a terrible performance from Newcastle again. Very, very, very good first half performance from Manchester United going forward. And a very professional defensive performance for them in the second half. I thought all of the defenders did really well. You know, penalty box defending, winning every aerial duel. Le Mans claimed plenty of crosses. And if he wasn't claiming crosses, it was Martinez, Dorgu, Haven, all of those players getting there first. So, you know, very professional defensive performance in the second half from United. They were very good going forward in the first half. You know, they took their one chance in the first half and they took it well. It was a good goal from Dorgu, who was my man of the match personally. You know, had a very good chance to double their lead in the second half through Sesko, who he just got unlucky to hit the bar. But the story of the night is that poor, absolutely disgraceful Newcastle performance. But with all that being said, I've been Nathan. I hope you've enjoyed today's stream. The next time you can catch me live is on New Year's Day at the same time, 7:30 p.m. for Manchester City versus Sunderland. So all my City family, I hope to see you there. I hope to see you cheering the team on. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed the stream and I hope you got on to enjoy the rest of your Boxing Day evening. But I've been